time to
Deep dive
deep dive, exactly.
into all the latest craziness from the tech world.
That's right. And this time we're diving headfirst into the headlines, straight from the source.
TechFuse 10.
TechFuse 10X, exactly the January 6th edition. And wow, folks, we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, there are a ton of new product launches. Dell, HP, Samsung, Garmin, AMD. I mean, everybody's got something new.
Yeah.
And there's a wood pellet grill with AI capabilities. I'm not kidding.
You can't make this stuff up.
You can't make this stuff up. That's
Hate
right.
that.
And then there's the whole cybersecurity roller coaster happening with hacking groups like Volt Typhoon and Salt Typhoon making headlines. And get this, even some security tools are needing security patches themselves.
Oh, the irony, right?
Right? Talk about a vulnerability.
Yeah.
But that's not all, folks. We also got some brands like Dell saying goodbye to some familiar names. Latitude and Precision, XPS and Inspiron.
Yeah, some big names there.
Yeah, big names. Are they ditching these icons for a fresh start, or is it just a marketing ploy?
We'll be talking about that.
And then we've got the comeback of the modular smartphone.
Remember those?
I do. I actually remember being really excited about those when they first came out.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they're doing with them this time around.
Yeah, me too.
I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed, and we haven't even scratched the surface.
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up, exactly. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your fellow tech junkies.
Yeah, spread the tech love.
Spread the tech love, exactly. So let's jump right in and tackle this AI craze that's sweeping the tech world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere you look.
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
Dell and HP are putting it in their laptops. Samsung's putting it in TVs, fridges, everything.
And don't forget, Microsoft, they're pouring billions into those AI data centers.
Right. Billions with a B.
Yeah.
It's like AI-powered everything is the new motto.
Well, it's more than just a passing trend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are some real advancements in machine learning, massive data sets and processing power fueling this surge.
So it's not just a bunch of marketing fluff?
Not this time. It has the potential to seriously change the way we work, play, and even solve global problems. But of course, it raises some questions, too.
Like what?
Well, one article we found dives into the concept of knowledge as a service and how it might totally redefine the internet as we know it.
Knowledge as a service. That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It kind of is. Imagine having access to a network of AI experts 24/7 ready to answer your questions, analyze data, and create solutions tailored to your needs.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But let's be real here. While AI has the potential to be awesome, doesn't it come with some potential risks too?
Definitely. One of the big ones is bias in algorithms. If the data used to train AI is biased, it can perpetuate and even amplify those biases, leading to unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
That's a scary thought. So how can we make sure AI is developed and used ethically? Do we even have the tools and frameworks to deal with that right now?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's something we need to figure out fast. We need to be having open and honest discussions about AI ethics, transparency, and accountability. We need to set clear guidelines for developing and using AI responsibly.
Totally agree. It's like we're standing on the edge of a technological revolution, but we need to tread carefully and make sure we don't create more problems than we solve.
And speaking of potentially dangerous territory, let's switch gears and talk about those cybersecurity threats we mentioned earlier, Volt Typhoon and Salt Typhoon. These are some serious players, right?
Yeah, these aren't your average script kiddies. We're talking highly sophisticated groups with resources and skills that rival nation states.
And their targets are pretty high profile, too. Volt Typhoon's been linked to attacks on critical infrastructure, specifically targeting Guam. And Salt Typhoon seems to be going after a wider range of U.S. companies.
What's especially worrying is how stealthy these attacks can be. They can hide in your systems for months, gathering intel and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. So it's not just about stopping breaches. It's about spotting and responding to threats that might already be lurking in our network.
Exactly. And it's a never-ending game of cat and mouse. These hacking groups are always changing their tactics, finding new weaknesses to exploit.
And speaking of weaknesses, one of the tools security pros use to find vulnerabilities, the Nuclei Vulnerability Scanner. Well, it turns out it had a security flaw itself.
Oh, no, you're kidding.
No, I'm serious. Tenable put out a warning about a plug-in security issue that could put users at risk. It's like your security guard leaving the back door wide open.
It just goes to show that no system is perfect. Even the tools we use to protect ourselves can have vulnerabilities. That's why it's so important to stay vigilant, keep your software updated, and have multiple layers of defense in place.
So what can the average person do to protect themselves in this digital Wild West, besides, ditching their devices and going off the grid?
Well, going off grid's always an option, but for those of us who aren't ready to become hermits, there are some practical steps we can take. Use strong, unique passwords for all your accounts. Turn on two-factor authentication whenever you can be careful about what links you click and what files you download, and keep your software up to date.
Great advice. And if you want to learn more about cybersecurity best practices, make sure you check out the resources mentioned in the TechViews 10X article. We'll also put some helpful links in the comments below.
Because knowledge is power, especially when it comes to protecting yourself online.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a break from the doom and gloom of cyber attacks and talk about something a little lighter. How about those tech brands and their constant identity crises? I mean, the tech world loves a good rebrand, and this week was no exception.
Yeah, it seems like every other day a company is unveiling a new logo or changing its name.
It's true. One of the biggest surprises was Dell deciding to say goodbye to some of its most iconic brands, Latitude Precision, XPS Inspiron. These names have been around forever.
Yeah, they're practically household names.
Exactly. I'm sure a lot of you out there have memories of your first Dell laptop or that trusty Inspiron desktop that got you through college. Feel free to share your tech nostalgia in the comments, but seriously, what's the deal? Is Dell trying to simplify its branding? Or is there something more going on here?
Well, it's hard to say for sure without being a fly on the wall in their marketing meetings. But some experts think it could be a move towards a more unified brand identity, focusing on the Dell name itself rather than all these sub-brands.
That makes sense. But it's a risky move, right? What about those loyal customers who love those brands? Won't they feel alienated?
It's definitely a gamble. Only time will tell if it pays off. Maybe Dell's betting that the power of the Dell name is enough to carry them through.
We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. Speaking of brands shaking things up, Samsung unveiled a massive new 16.9 4K monitor. We're talking serious screen real estate here.
Yeah, it's like having your own personal IMAX theater.
It's definitely a statement piece. And it seems to be part of a trend towards bigger, more immersive displays. Whether you're a gamer, a creative pro, or just someone who loves to binge-watch movies, a screen like that is sure to make an impact.
It's hard to resist the allure of a giant screen.
It is.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the audiophiles out there. Victrola, the company known for its classic record players, is jumping into the future with a new turntable featuring some cutting-edge audio tech like Auracast and aptX.
That's right. Auracast lets you share audio with multiple devices at the same time, so you can listen to your vinyl collection with friends or family, each with your own wireless headphones, all perfectly in sync.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And aptX is known for its high-quality audio transmission, so you know you're getting the best possible sound from your turntable. It's like Victrola's combining the nostalgia of vinyl with the convenience and fidelity of modern audio tech.
It's a smart move, appealing to both the audio purists and the tech-savvy generation.
It's a cool blend of old and new.
Yeah.
And speaking of old and new, guess what's making a comeback? Modular smartphones.
No way. Seriously. Seriously. They were all the rage a few years ago, promising a customizable, upgradable phone experience. And now they're back for round two.
I remember being intrigued by the concept, but the technology wasn't quite there yet.
I agree, but it seems like things have changed. The idea of swapping out components like the camera battery or even the processor is pretty appealing from a flexibility and sustainability standpoint.
Yeah, you could build your own custom smartphones using the features you want. And it could potentially reduce electronic waste since you wouldn't need to replace the whole phone just because one part is outdated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is this the second coming of the modular smartphone, or is it just another tech fad that will fizzle out? What do you think?
Well, it's too early to tell, but there's definitely renewed interest in the idea. And with the growing demand for customizable and sustainable tech solutions, modular phones might finally have their moment to shine. I'm curious to see what happens. And speaking of things that are about to shine, get ready to have your minds blown, because we're about to dive into some of the most innovative and, frankly, mind-boggling gadgets and tech advancements that caught our eye in this week's news. So buckle up, folks. Things are about to get wild. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your tech-loving friends. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Before the break, we promised to take you on a whirlwind tour of some of the most innovative gadgets and tech advancements that popped up in the news this week. And let me tell you, we've got some seriously cool stuff to show you. From mind-blowing displays to ultra-tiny projectors, get ready to be amazed.
I'm always up for a healthy dose of tech-induced amazement. So what's the first gadget that caught your eye?
Well, one of the most impressive things we saw was in the world of displays. TCL announced their new lineup of mini LED TVs for 2025, and they're claiming a whopping 50% increase in brightness compared to their previous models.
50% brighter. That's a pretty significant jump. But I can't help but wonder, wouldn't that be kind of overwhelming? Especially in a dimly lit room.
That's a good point. While brighter displays are generally better for things like HDR performance and vibrant colors, there is such a thing as too bright. I'm sure TCL will have to make sure their new TVs have a wide range of brightness settings so you can adjust it to your liking and your environment.
Yeah, you don't want your TV to double as a tanning bed. Yeah. But hey, speaking of displays, how about this? A projector so small it can fit in your pocket. It's being called the world's smallest ultra short throw projector, and it can supposedly project a 100-inch image from this tiny little box. Plus, it comes with Google TV built in.
Projector technology has come a long way. It's amazing what they can pack into such a small device. A pocket-sized projector like this opens up a whole world of possibilities. Imagine having a movie night with friends literally anywhere you go, or turning any surface into a giant interactive display.
I can already see myself projecting presentations onto the side of buildings. But enough about displays. Let's talk about something for the gamers out there. Hyperkin announced a new controller called the Competitor, and it's designed specifically for gamers who prefer the PlayStation controller layout.
Yeah, it's got that familiar DualSense-like layout. But here's the cool part. It also features something called Hall effect sticks.
Hall effect sticks. What are those?
So basically, instead of using traditional potentiometers, Hall effect sticks use magnetic sensors. This makes them much more durable and less likely to suffer from drift over time. You know that annoying thing where your joystick starts moving on its own?
Oh yeah, I know drift all too well. It's the bane of my gaming existence.
Well, Hall effect sticks could be the solution. They're becoming more and more popular in high-end controllers because they offer greater precision and responsiveness.
So for gamers who are serious about their gameplay, this could be a real game changer. But let's get back to those TVs for a second. Samsung unveiled their new glare-free 2.0 OLED TV technology, which aims to address one of the biggest complaints about OLED screens, glare.
Yeah, traditional OLED TVs can be pretty bad when it comes to glare, especially in brightly lit rooms. Samsung's glare-free 2.0 tech is supposed to minimize that glare so you can enjoy a better viewing experience no matter where you are.
That's a welcome improvement. I've always loved the deep blacks and vibrant colors of OLED, but the glare has always been a bit of a pet peeve of mine. But now for something completely different, furry clip-on robots. You see these things?
Yeah, those are interesting.
Yeah.
They're like little interactive robots covered in fur that you can clip onto your clothes or your backpack.
I don't know what to make of them. They're kind of cute, but also kind of weird. What's the point of them?
I think they're mainly meant for companionship and entertainment. They're like a combination of a digital pet and a fashion accessory.
I guess we'll see if they catch on, or if they end up in the tech graveyard, alongside all the other forgotten gadgets. But speaking of gadgets that are both intriguing and slightly bizarre, how about that robot cat designed to prevent burnt tongues?
Oh yeah, the anti-burnt tongue feline. It's actually pretty clever. It uses sensors to detect the temperature of your food or drink, and if it's too hot, it'll give you a warning so you don't burn your mouth.
I appreciate the thought, but I can't help but feel like it's a bit of a solution in search of a problem. I mean, haven't we all figured out how to blow on our food to cool it down?
True. But hey, maybe it's for people who are extra sensitive to heat or who are prone to accidents. And besides, who can resist a cute robot cat, even if its function is a bit niche?
You've got a point there. But now for a tech trend that's a little more down-to-earth bug watching. Yeah, you heard that right.
Yeah.
Some people are saying bug watching could be the next big thing.
I know it sounds strange, but there's a certain appeal to it. In a world that's increasingly dominated by technology and digital distractions, people are craving a connection to nature. And observing insects in their natural environment can be surprisingly fascinating and calming.
I've never thought of bug watching as a hobby, but I guess it's kind of like bird watching, but with more legs and antenna. I'm not sure if it'll ever be as popular as bird watching, but hey, who am I to judge what people find entertaining?
Exactly. And speaking of entertainment, we saw some interesting news from the world of movies and awards shows. Demi Moore won a Golden Globe for her role in a horror film, which has sparked a lot of conversation about how the horror genre is evolving in its place in Hollywood.
It's great to see horror movies getting recognition beyond their typical niche audience. It seems like people are becoming more open to diverse genres and stories that push the boundaries. And speaking of pushing boundaries, a Latvian indie film managed to snag the award for Best Animated Film at the Golden Globes, beating out some big-budget sequels.
That's a huge win for independent filmmakers and a testament to the power of original storytelling. It's a reminder that sometimes the most compelling stories come from unexpected places.
Well said. And speaking of unexpected places, we're about to delve into a topic that's both fascinating and potentially game-changing: the rise of knowledge as a service and its implications for the future of the internet. So get ready, folks, because things are about to get deep.
And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with anyone who loves exploring the cutting edge of technology. We'll be right back after a quick message.
All right, Tech Explorers, welcome back. We've covered a lot of ground today, from AI-powered everything to cybersecurity threats to some seriously cool gadgets. But now it's time to zoom out a bit and think about the bigger picture.
Exactly. Where is all this tech taking us? What does it mean for our digital future?
Well, let's start with AI. It's clear that it's becoming a bigger part of our lives every day. But one concept that really stuck with me is this idea of knowledge as a service. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? It suggests a future where AI goes beyond just giving us information. It becomes more like a personal advisor, a problem solver, an on-demand expert for anything we need.
So instead of just Googling something, we could tap into a network of AI that can analyze data, synthesize insights, and give us customized solutions.
Exactly. Imagine asking a question, and instead of getting a bunch of links, you get a detailed AI-generated analysis tailored specifically to your needs. It could revolutionize fields like education research, even just everyday decision-making.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but also a little intimidating. How do we make sure this AI-powered knowledge is accurate and unbiased? And what about access? Will this create a digital divide between those who can afford these AI services and those who can't?
Those are critical questions. As we embrace AI, we need to make sure we're developing it ethically with transparency and equitable access. We need to ensure these powerful tools benefit everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. And speaking of making sure technology benefits everyone, let's go back to those cybersecurity concerns for a minute. The attacks we talked about earlier really highlight the importance of not just protecting technology, but also protecting people.
Couldn't agree more. Cybersecurity isn't just about safeguarding data anymore. It's about safeguarding our way of life. As we rely more and more on technology, we become more vulnerable to attacks that can disrupt essential services, cripple businesses, even create chaos and fear.
So it's not just about having strong passwords and firewalls. It's about having a broader awareness of how interconnected our digital world is and the potential consequences of cyber attacks.
Exactly. We need to foster a culture of cybersecurity awareness where individuals and organizations alike prioritize responsible tech practices and stay informed about the latest threats.
It's like learning a new language, the language of digital safety and resilience. And speaking of navigating a constantly changing landscape, let's circle back to those shifting brand identities. Dell getting rid of some of its iconic names is a bold move.
It definitely is. While streamlining branding can create a more unified image, there's always the risk of alienating loyal customers who are attached to those familiar names.
It's a tough balance between preserving heritage and embracing evolution. And it makes you wonder, what's next for the tech landscape? What trends will shape the devices, services, and brands of the future?
That's what makes the tech world so exciting. It's constantly evolving, always surprising us with new innovations and unexpected twists. Who would have thought modular smartphones would make a comeback, or that bug watching could be the next big thing?
It just goes to show that even in a world dominated by data and algorithms, there's always room for the unexpected, the quirky, the downright weird.
Absolutely. And as we navigate this ever-changing landscape, it's important to stay curious, question assumptions, and embrace the unknown with a sense of wonder and a healthy dose of skepticism.
Well said. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the week's tech news, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will walk away with?
I think it's this. The future of technology isn't something that's just happening to us. We're actively creating it. Our choices, our actions, our engagement all shape the direction technology takes. So stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, stay engaged in the conversation.
Couldn't said it better myself. And all of you amazing viewers out there, thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the world of tech. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow tech enthusiasts. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into the latest and greatest tech news. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those comments coming.